Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah, this is our little pre-program, and it's called Provacateur State. I want to try to put a few things in order that we've been digesting for quite some time. And we wanted to do it tomorrow at Eid, but it's too rambling for Eid, you know. So this has to do with evolving with the curve, or ahead of the curve, and what have you. I believe we have done a reasonable job in either evolving ahead of the curve, that means being prepared, having a proper diagnosis or analysis even before the disease developed, because in the environmental circumstances that we're living in, these diseases are repetitive. They come over and over again, and once you are As-Sabiqun, you're able to anticipate and you expect certain things to happen, but you have to, that element of delay, you have to wait. And the reason we've been accurate is not because we haven't been able to pick something up right away, but because we have developed to pick something up so quick, but we delay week after week, month after month, till it clarifies itself. And that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the reality show that's going on. We call it the Donald Trump reality show. Now, people that are younger may not understand the B-actor syndrome. The B-actor syndrome, we first recognized it with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a B-actor. Think of all the old movies he played. He was a B-actor, but when he was president, he played an A role. He was an A-actor. All they told him was, you play like President of the United States. You act like you're the President of the United States. What you would view a perfect president to be, right? So that's what he acted like. He saw himself as a strong anti-communist, and he played that. He played it so well that he played Mikhail Gorbachev out of pocket. Yeah, and by the time he finished, Ronald Reagan couldn't even remember his own name hardly.
They say Nancy was running the White House.
Nancy was running, and then after about a year after he passed away, Nancy said, well, Ronnie is out there. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, and we can't reach him. But Ronnie was forgetting who McFarlane was, you know, his secretary, all them people. And Weinberger, somebody said he asked McFarlane, by the way, who are you? He said, well, Mr. President, I'm your foreign minister, whatever he was, secretary. Okay, he was a B actor, Death Valley Days, you know, back in the late 30s and 40s, B movies. But he played a president. He played that role where he just had everybody, you know, feeling that he was really, that's what he was. Now, the second reality show is Donald Trump. Donald Trump, we recognize him from Jump Street We always said it. We said somebody that hired this boy, somebody that, you know what I mean? Okay, but we didn't add nothing to it. We had to wait a while till we could see and get a feel, you know what I mean, to who hired him. You know, okay, we may not be able to pinpoint exactly who hired him because all the things that he did, he asked the Russians on TV, if you can get anything else on Hillary Clinton, let me know. Do you remember that? It's insanity. Who? I said, nobody's saying anything. Right? It ain't no big deal. Suppose Obama would have said, hey, if you can get anything on them guys, just let me know. The Russians or China, if y'all get anything on anybody, just let me know. He would have been out of there in a hurry. But he wasn't. That's when we get the idea of what did he do before he got there as president? Reality show. Reality show. Let's go back a little while to maybe who would have something to do with this. Let's look at Benjamin Netanyahu, and let's look at Saudi Arabia, right? And, well, let's just look at them for a while. And even look at President Obama. President Obama was the only president where the Israeli guy comes over here, speaks before the parliament. I mean, not the parliament, but
Congress.
the
Right.
Congress, and everybody jumping up and down. So what did Obama do to make the Yahoos so mad? Number one, he wanted to make a treaty with Iran. That just blew his two supporters. They had Benjamin Netanyahu and Saudi Arabia. They was furious. So you can't do that, man. You can't do that. But he did it anyway. All right. So we can see, well, what did the president, what's his name, Donald Trump do as soon as he got in? He tore up the Iran treaty, right? And then he tore up the Iran treaty. Then the next thing he did was China. See, the thing about China, you have to understand, what has China's sin been? The U.S., all Western powers would take any bet, any time. When you upgrade the wealth of the people and they get better off, right, they're gonna choose democracy. China didn't do that. That's a mortal sin. If you want to know why is America mad at China, that's the reason. They still got the Chinese Communist Party. And the people in China, what do they say? Americans are single digits. The Congress and all that is single digits sometimes. Double digits at most. Their approval. Kishu Murabani, was it?
Yeah.
He said that their Chinese approval rate, did he say 95%? 95%.
95 and 92. Yeah.
Good God Almighty.
Right.
That's approval.
Right.
That is approval. But they didn't become Democrats or Republicans. They didn't throw the Communist Party out. They wasn't running around. China is really something. See, it wasn't Russia, but what scared them to death, and I'll tell you when it happened. it must have been 2018 or maybe 2017, when the Communist Party had the big show, the 19th Communist Party big show, when they have 3,000 people from all over, and he laid out his plan. We want to get this far by 2025, then 2035 is our big push, and by 2049, which will be our 100th anniversary, we want everybody in China to be, he called it, well, by 35, modestly wealthy. Want everybody in China to be modestly wealthy. And not only have they done most of it, what is it, 600 million people already out of the poorhouse? It's not bad. And then, I've been watching them. The Communist Party is actually working on the farmers and the people who are poor, to bring their education up, to bring all that stuff. It's working on that. It's been working on that for 2 years. So the Communist Party in China is technically doing a good job. I mean, a human good job for human beings. And then these hypocritical U.S., we don't like China all of a sudden because look what you're doing to Hong Kong. The people in China consider the Hong Kongese as spoiled brats. That's the exact language they use for them. You know, there was a British colony. They just got it back in '97. Can you imagine? We don't like the way you treat the Hong Kongese. What about Negroes here? And the Chinamen in Hong Kong, you see them fighting with the police? They can fight with the police. And they burnt the university down, they do whatever they want. Try that here. Yeah, you talk about freedom? I tell you, it was 31 years ago. The Chinese, that Tiananmen Square crew, what turned me off about them, when they came out at Tiananmen Square and they had the Statue of Liberty, I said, whatever they about, I don't know, I ain't. That was it. You remember? I don't know if you, they had the pasteboard, Statue of Liberty. I said, they don't know nothing. That crew, they don't know nothing. You know what I mean? And so, Hong Kong, we mad at Hong Kong. And then, see, China and Iran is a big target. First of all, they had to break Iran, and it didn't go right. China and Iran are perfect friends. The Belt and Road, I started watching this stuff years ago. I said, man, the Caribbean Initiative with the black right down. I don't know if that was 10 years ago. It was somewhere back. I said, man, China on a roll. To make a long story short, it was 2017, 18, because see, when Donald Trump first started meeting with the Chinese, he met him down in Mar-a-Lago, remember that? Oh, we just fine. Then after they did that thing and said, this is what we about. That's when they realized the American system looked at that thing and they said, well, we gotta avoid the Thucydides trap, but hey, everything else goes. So, even a little before that, they had to have somebody in there that would carry that foolishness out. That's why they brought in Don. He's a reality show guy, right? He will do what needs to be done because they feel like during the Obama administration, they were still playing off of the Chinese are getting wealthier, they're going to go for democracy. They pass on by, no democracy. Now the U.S. is furious. You got to remember, that is one of their strongest ideological points. Remember, everything that they're dealing with the Chinese now is based on so-called phony ideology. They're communists, they're reds, right? But like this guy, Murabadi, he said that if you would check with a Chinaman, the Chinese Communist Party, in 1980, everybody had a Mao suit. And you had to have travel papers to go. You couldn't even leave China in those days. I see Chinese all over South Africa, and I talked to them about Deng Xiaoping. He said it don't make no difference whether the cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. It don't make no difference whether it's capitalism or communism, as long as it works. So Deng Xiaoping, he pulled it off. But it's Marxist-Leninism, Chairman Mao Zedong thought, with a little bit of Deng Xiaoping mixed in with Chinese characteristics. Now they started talking that talk, Chinese characteristics, a long time ago. But they just started really sticking where you would remember communism with Chinese characteristics. The thing that they hate more than anything is that the Chinese have been successful. Can you imagine in America, the poor people are getting poorer, but in China, the poor people are getting richer. The same way we was way up there in the big giant middle class, and theirs, right? Guess what? They're above us now. And not in money, but according to the way they live, they're on the roll. The U.S. is mad. And then technology. The Chinese, actually we just, remember you could get anything bootleg China, but you can't hardly get it now. They done threw that out. I used to get all the movies and stuff from China. But now they don't do it anymore. Maybe DVDs is out and people can push a button and get all that stuff. But other people are still doing a few of them, a few big roles here and there. So, but those quality DVDs, you can't, the bootleg from China, you can't get them anymore. Why? They don't need to do that anymore. But that was a time when China stole everything from the U.S. CDs, DVDs, even back in the tape days, you know. They just, that's what they did. The Chinese, the Americans, when the Americans went to China, when they went to other countries around the world, there was no transfer of technology. They would transfer the factory there, but they would have everything already made up and you could put it together. China said, we're not going to do that. You have to transfer the technology to go with it. Actually, how to do it. The Chinese are smart. They said, no, we're a big market. And the greedy Americans did it. They thought we'll be ahead of these guys all the time. Look, they're still using old carts. They're not gonna. But all of a sudden, man, in the last 10 years have been a rocket ship. They was building the structure, the foundation, and now they done blasted off, and they done blasted off from Boss Man. Huawei, highway, or whatever they call it. Right? 5G technology. The U.S. don't even have it. that said, wait on us for another 3 or 4 years. Closing down the consulates. The U.S. is sad and mad. The key is that the Chinese did not become Democrats and Republicans. That's the whole problem with China. If they would have broken down their capitalist, their communist system, see, let's look at things. We talked about this many times. In China, even Germany, some of the other places, the politicians, some of them are still nationalist-like. But in America, the politicians, nor the big companies, they're not nationalists anymore. They don't do what's good for America. They do what's good for themselves. So, who's gonna build a road or a new bridge in America? Let them fall down, because if I vote to build that bridge, by the time the thing is done, I'll be out of office, right? And the other guy, he'll get credit. But the Chinese Party, Communist Party, look at the Belt and Road Initiative, all the stuff they do, all the engineering, all the technology. Since they have a structured party, they tussle a little bit behind the scenes, but they come out, this is what we're doing. This is who we follow, and this is what we're doing. And that works fine for them. What Easton produced, it's not that, well, I'll put it like this. Don and his reality show is just what they needed, because a common president wouldn't do the things that Don, you know, he wouldn't talk to people like, he wouldn't like if you were, the Chinese are going along fine. He wouldn't just up and, right, say, now you're bad, right? You're bad guys, we're gonna do this, and that's it. Or, if the people that worked for all them years, you know, that thing that Zarif and them put together, they worked hard on that. And old Carrie, they really worked on that. They really, and they put that boy together, you know, so it was important. You can hear some of the parliament people